Candidate Forum, presented by the League of Women Voters of Winnebago County and Oshkosh Media. We held a forum for the 54th State Assembly District on Monday, September 28th. You can find it on the Oshkosh Media website or YouTube channel. We regret being unable to host forums for the U.S. 6th Congressional District, State Assembly District 53, or the State Senate 18th District. Our bylaws require at least 2 candidates participate in order for us to hold a forum, and in those 3 races, one of the 2 candidates either declined our invitation or simply did not respond. We do thank tonight's candidates for agreeing to participate to give the voters the opportunity to get to know them. We like informed voters. This event is being simulcast on WOCT 101.9 FM, Oshkosh Community Radio. This forum may also be accessed by streaming video on the Oshkosh Media website at www.oshkoshmedia.org or on the Oshkosh Media YouTube channel. I am Margie Davey, Winnebago County League of Women Voters President and your moderator tonight. The League of Women Voters encourages informed and active participation in government. Our mission is to inform citizens about major public policy issues and about candidates seeking office. We do not support or oppose any political party or any candidate. You may find information about the League at lwvwinnebago.org. We did ask for questions to be submitted in advance tonight because of COVID safety requirements. All questions, when they are submitted in advance, we do reserve the right to clarify the question, to edit it for brevity, and the questions are only seen by League members who are vetting them beforehand. The candidates have been given a question beforehand, which will let you know which one it is, but they have not seen any of the rest of the questions. Natalie Strohmeyer, the Republican Party incumbent, and Seth Reid, the Independent Party challenger, are asking for your vote on Tuesday, November 3rd. Joining me on the panel for this forum is Nathaniel Schuda, Oshkosh Northwestern editor, and Karen Schneider, Oshkosh Herald publisher. Unfortunately, there is no live audience because of COVID, but a few questions were submitted by the public in advance. The forum will be more informal than most. We're not going to keep real tight time limits, but please don't abuse that. Keep your answers on point and allow your opponent adequate time also. Okay, the candidates did receive the first 2 questions that we'll be using in advance. And the first one, we'll give you 2 minutes apiece for it. We're going to start with Seth Reid. If it's okay, I'm going to use first names. It keeps me from getting confused. Tell us about your qualifications and why you wish to be elected as the Winnebago County Register of Deeds. Seth.
So, I'm Seth Reid. I'm a computer forensic expert witness in the Wisconsin Circuit Court system. I've had my own company here since 2003 doing IT and data security for companies like Appleton Harley-Davidson, Oshkosh City Cab, Oshkosh Area Humane Society, Heckrot Wetland Reserve, and a lot of nonprofits and churches in between. And basically I want to take my data security expertise and my knowledge of running a company, which is operations, accounting, budgeting, staff management, and customer service, and I want to apply that to this public office where I feel it's desperately needed. The reason I'm running is because I've always had an interest in public service, but I was doing okay on my own until 2018. I did suffer MRSA pneumonia and sepsis, and I almost lost my life. And with that brush with death, ever since then, I have felt compelled to go into public service. So when I found out about the deeds office, how it operates, what it needs, and what status it is right now, you can see from the website that it looks like it's from the past. I didn't see anywhere else where I felt I could be more useful, so I chose the deeds office.
Thank you. Natalie.
Thank you. I'm Natalie Strohmeyer. I'm the current Register of Deeds for Winnebago County. And during my 4 years, I've been appointed by the governor to the Electronic Real Estate Recording Council. I'm a member of the Wisconsin Register of Deeds Vital Committee, and I serve as vice chair for the Winnebago County Land Information Council. Prior to being elected, I worked in the Outagamie County Register of Deeds office from 1982 to 2016, the last 18 years, which I served as the Deputy Register of Deeds. I have converted and upgraded the office computer system to assist in keeping costs down and helping the office run more efficiently, with further upgrades coming. I have worked on reducing the Register of Deeds budget, implemented office procedures and guidelines, reviewed and updated contracts and accounting procedures, implemented work-at-home capability to develop home/office work schedules to serve the public while keeping staff safe during the current restrictions. We use advanced software systems to achieve a high level of security and keep up with the changing technology and statutory requirements. It's the same software used by other large Wisconsin counties like Milwaukee, Dane, Brown, to name a few. I work closely with our software vendor and our IT department to make sure our needs and those of the public are met, and that our office runs on an efficient and secure network. I really enjoyed the last 4 years as Register of Deeds. As I've mentioned, I have spent 30+ years in the Register of Deeds office in Outagamie County and brought a lot of knowledge with me to Winnebago County, but also have learned a lot since being the Register. My previous experience helps me with this transition much easier.
Thank you. The other question that I believe you had in advance is about priorities. It says, if you are elected in November, what will be your priorities as the Winnebago County Register of Deeds? And this time we will start with Natalie.
Thank you. I am seeking re-election to continue the work that I've been doing as Register. Winnebago County has its own ID department that covers all of our counties, all the departments in the county, including the Register of Deeds office. Most of my job is applying my experience in real estate records and vital records. For computer security issues, we have our IT department that I can call upon and work with, as well as our computer vendor who specializes in document retrieval and security. I know what the end result needs to be from the Register of Deeds standpoint, and they figure out the technical and the security. Together, we have the expertise to make records accessible to those who need them and keep them secure at the same time. I will continue using the newly implemented programs for more consistency to help with indexing and searching, help Winnebago County residents with their needs and concerns relating to vital records and real estate. I place a high degree of importance on the quality of indexing. With the decades of experience with working closely with title companies, real estate attorneys, surveyors, county departments, and the general public, that helps everyone. I would continue working on implementing a program that I'm working on right now called Pintegrity, which is a program that will link together addresses, tax parcel numbers, legals, to make it easier to find documents within the Register of Deeds office when the public needs help. Evaluate employees on way to improve workflows in the office, which includes upgrading guidelines and office policy and cross-training employees. Continue serving on the aforementioned committees that I am currently on. Continue monitoring all legislation and effectiveness to ensure the proactive address and communicating of staff.
Thank you. Okay, Seth, what will be your priorities if you're elected the Register of Deeds?
Thank you. So my priorities are to take a real close look at the way the office is operating, survey customers and find out how can we serve them better and more efficiently. And I also wanted to implement Lean, which is a methodology to measure and improve efficiency. But it does so in a way that also improves the experience for the staff and the customers. It's a win-win. It's long overdue. And when this happens, and there's a feedback system in place, and there's real accountability to people, people are going to see that, they're going to love it, and it's going to become a gold standard. And that will naturally propagate out into other departments as citizens begin to demand it.
Okay, thank you. Now we're going to move on to questions from the panel and some questions that the public had given us, which we have then given to the panel. You will have 1 minute each for your responses to these questions. As I said before, we'll be a little fluid tonight, but
Sure.
try to keep your answers to the point. We'll start first with Karen, and you will be addressing your first question to Natalie.
Okay, Natalie. Can you describe all the functions of the Register of Deeds office? And then how important is this experience in these functions of the leader of the department and for their team?
Some of the daily functions is assisting customers and learning how the indexing system works. The staff is trained to take care of the general customers, but if you have a more complex area or a complex situation, they come to the deputy or the register. So the register needs to know all the functions of the office, from the vitals, how to deal with the state vital records, Wisconsin Department of Revenue. We take care of the annual budget, dealing with monthly billings, reports to different staff agencies. We interview, train, supervise the staff. We're like the liaison for the county board and other elected officials, also to our county land information office. So experience does a lot, because between me having experience in Outagamie County and Winnebago, I've worked on 2 of the major systems, and I know how to retrieve the information from that to provide to the customers.
Thank you. Seth, if at any time you need us to repeat a question, let us know too. We're giving you the same question.
Oh, okay, yeah, just repeat it, please.
Okay, so describe the functions of the Register of Deeds office, and how important is experience in these functions by the leader for the department and its staff?
The deeds office records documents, essentially. That's what they do. So that's land records, vital records, historical records. The genealogy, various groups around the county come in and they utilize those functions. So when that kind of service is being provided, I've gone around and I've surveyed the people around this county, land surveyors, funeral directors. Some of them are not happy with the current service that they're getting. So my priority and focus here is to get all those services going forward for people and working better. Now, essentially I'm sorry, I lost my place here. Forgive me. The experience does matter. It does. And I don't take that away from you, Natalie. You've got a lot of experience in the office. But it has to be the right experience at the right time. It's 2020, and everything's digital, and it's not going back. Everything's going to stay digital. And the more we push that direction, the more experience that person has to have in data security. So I think that's the most vital experience at this time. The staff does have a lot of knowledge. Chris Larson, the deputy, he's been there a few years, and he has, by all accounts, been excellent. The staff has been there longer than he has, and I will have to lean on them. I'm not denying that. But I will get cross-trained, and I will also bring the skill set of data security to make sure that that office, where all our data flows through, is protected.
Thank you. Nathaniel, do you have a question for Seth?
Yes. We've heard quite a bit tonight already about data security and making sure that information is kept secure and that type of thing. This is a version of a question that we got submitted from the public, but I'm going to expand on it a little bit myself. How important is it for the elected official, for the Register of Deeds themselves, to understand the inner components of the IT and security aspect of it, versus relying on, say, an outside firm, or relying on an IT department and
Sure.
those types of things?
There's a few ways to tackle that one. First one, I would say, why would you hire the extra expensive consultant when you can just elect that person. But then beyond that, I mean, like I said before, it's 2020. If the person does not have data security expertise in a leadership position that oversees our digital records, that is a huge security risk. And unfortunately, Natalie, you've kind of proven my point on that, and you don't even know it. If anyone watching this or listening right now goes on Facebook, go to Natalie Stromeyer's Facebook page. Not the Reelect one, the regular one. Go down to June 6th. There's a very common Facebook scam that is perpetrated where you paste text that tells you you're going to defeat the algorithm and get more views. And what it does is hackers come along later, they search for that text, and then when they see it somewhere, they investigate the person and they set up a phishing scam. Now on page 182 in the budget here, the phishing scam exercises and training was done this year by Patty Francor, and I'm sure you received that training, but you still fell for the scam. And that's unacceptable. Our data is more at risk. It had a 4-month head start. And that's why it's absolutely critical that the person in the deeds leadership office, that the leadership of the deeds office has that knowledge or expertise.
Natalie, would you like the question repeated?
No, I think I can handle answering part of it. As far as the phishing expertise, we get those questions asked to us daily. I mean, not daily, but we get emails for phishing all the time that we have to pass to make through for our county. And I've actually received stuff from IT saying how well I do with it. So to say that I'm not doing a good job at it, I disagree with that.
It's on your Facebook right now.
I understand
search
that
at the top.
particular one. I also, many years ago, the IT department used to do a lot of the software programs themselves and found out it was extremely expensive to do, to stay up with all the technologies and working with all the different PREA, the state, the vitals, the Wisconsin Department of Revenue, and all the different links that have to be combined together, that it's cheaper to hire a software provider. And there's 2 main ones that are in Wisconsin. And I've worked with both of those companies, and they both come by with excellent safeguards for the security. And again, I've been with our IT department. They're excellent on helping you with items. And like I've stated before, I know what I need for the Register of Deeds office because of my experience, and I rely on the IT department, who are hired to do the security part, to take care of their end.
Okay, thank you. Karen, you have a question for Natalie.
I do, and this is also a submitted question. So what is your assessment of the budget of the Register of Deeds office? And can it be ran efficiently and productive with the amount that is levied on there? And what are your suggestions for changes?
Actually, each year I have slightly lowered my levy amount, and still been able to upgrade our computer systems and different items in the office. Our plotter has been replaced to get better quality scans of our plats. This year, I've actually, it has not been approved yet, but I saved roughly $50,000 below my levy. And I'm not on the levy. My office is self-supplied. I give money back to the county to help other offices that are on the levy. And each year, I've been working very cautiously. I'm like I do with my own budget. If I can figure out a way of getting what we need but keeping the costs down, I do it.
Thank you. Seth?
Please repeat.
Okay. So what is your assessment? I see you have the budget there.
We have the budget, yes.
What is your assessment of the budget for the Register of Deeds office? And can you run it efficiently and productively on that amount?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's a cash-positive office, one of the few cash-positive offices in the county. And I don't disagree with the things that you were saying about keeping parts of the budget that help other departments. I'm not here to change everything and rock the boat. The problem is, yes, it can be made more efficient and more lean with lean methodology. The word efficiency keeps getting tossed around as if, you know, you can just call this efficient and that efficient, but you measure efficiency. So unless you can tell me what the measurement of efficiency was at the beginning of your term and what it is now, it's just a word you're throwing around. So when you introduce lean methodology, you will have metrics that will be measured, and those metrics will help me drive down the budget so that I can help those departments even more.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, we're going to Nathaniel and Seth.
One of the big things for us kind of in the news and journalism kind of field is kind of standing for open records and transparency and making sure that the government is being held accountable.
Sure.
Obviously, being an office that is in charge of holding public records and making those available to people. What steps would you take to ensure that the office is open, accountable, and useful in a meaningful way to the public?
Well, I guess two things. One is the deeds office is public facing and it's business to business also. So what that means is they should be at the Business Expo, for example, in Oshkosh, and they should have a booth there, and they should be attending those events. Because when those companies come in to use the services of the deeds office, they're in a hurry. They're in the middle of a workday. They just want to get something recorded. They don't have time to share their minor frustrations or major frustrations with the deeds office at that time. So one is to get communication going in a more social environment like that, and then that communication will allow them to improve the office through their requests and serve them better. The other is I'm going to have a publication actually called Reed's Deeds, and it's going to be for Winnebago students, and any student around Winnebago will be able to be a guest volunteer columnist, and they can write on things about technology, the deeds office itself, record management systems if they want to, local policy, local government, and it'll get children with fresh ideas involved in the deeds office. But then also their parents will see the publication, and they'll not only know more about what the deeds office does, but they'll be up to speed on what the deeds office is currently doing, and that communication will be invaluable to get transparency out there.
Okay, thank you. Natalie?
Could I have the question
Sure,
repeated, please?
absolutely. Essentially, what steps would you take, or what would you do to ensure that the office is is open, accountable, and useful in a meaningful way for the public?
I feel the office is very useful to the public already. When a lot of our stuff is on programs what called Tapestry and Laredo, where people can get information from us. They can call our office. We can help them. They can get the documentation without coming into our office. There is a fee for it, but there's statutory fees for even getting the copies if they come into our office, because we are a statute-driven office. As far as now that things have closed up quite a bit due to the COVID, we don't have Youth Government Day where we educate people and things like that. It's nice when the public comes in and we can do little tours of our office to the kids and explain what's going on. The one item that I find so interesting is a lot of our old records, which are scanned into the computer system, but they are written in cursive. A lot of the kids nowadays can't read cursive or know how to write cursive. And the sad part is even though so much stuff is going into the new data and security system, or not security, but the 21st century, the records are still the old handwritten records, and people need to be able to read those to be able to even put the data into the computer systems.
Okay, thank you. It's something I wouldn't have ever thought about. Karen, do you have a question for Natalie?
Absolutely. So what is the most significant challenge you foresee if reelected as Register of Deeds?
The most significant challenge? The challenge that I deal with on a daily basis is taking all the data that has been put in the computer system already and making it more accurate. I'm the kind of person that if it takes 4 clicks to get to where you need to go, I'd like to cut that in half and get down to 2 clicks. So I'm always looking at ways to improve how you can reach the data in the least amount of times, or clicks as I call it. And dealing with new programs that we're putting into place is training the staff. I have some staff that's been there for years, but I also have 2 employees that have been there just about as long as I have been. So you're always mixing new and old staff together and trying to retrain, or not retrain, but train people for new way of doing the newer programs that are coming out.
Thank you. Okay, Seth?
Please repeat.
Sure. What is the most significant challenge you foresee if you become the new Register of Deeds?
The most significant is going to be instituting lean methodology. We do need that. The county is a big enough organization that should exist already. So I'm going to keep hammering on that one. Lean methodology, lean methodology, lean methodology. We do need it. It'll make the organization work much better. It's not that, when people get used to it, it's really nice because they enjoy the fact that it makes their lives easier and their jobs easier. When they hear this, oh, we're going to introduce something new and we're going to change things, some people do get nervous, I understand that, but it's necessary, and it's how large companies and small companies alike make their companies streamlined for their customers, which is exactly what the deeds office needs to focus on.
Okay, thank you. It goes to Natalie, right? Thank you.
Well,
No?
No, I would-
You already answered
I just,
that.
it'd be,
It's
It's Nathaniel's turn. Thank you. I'm sorry, I lost it. Nathaniel, your question will be for Seth, am I correct?
I believe so.
Oh, let's do that. Okay.
One thing that kind of comes into play, especially for the local county races like the Register of Deeds, is the fact that in a lot of cases they're a constitutional office. It's set in the Constitution as an elected office for, in this case, Winnebago County. What are your thoughts on whether or not a Register of Deeds position should be elected versus, say, appointed, keeping in mind, obviously, that it is a constitutional office?
Sure. Well, a little background on that is the position, yes, it was written in the original Constitution for Wisconsin as a county required position for being elected position. And that made the Register of Deeds, unfortunately, technically a partisan position also, even though there's no partisan function whatsoever. And in my opinion, that's how we don't have somebody who has knowledge of data security and IT and all the things that our data depends on. So that should probably change at some point. Other places around the country have switched their Register of Deeds offices to skill jobs that are hired. And it is a skill job. Computers weren't invented in 1848. Everything is digital now, so it needs to change. We need to update that with the times, just like we need to update the skill set that has to be in the office. It should not be an elected position ultimately, but it is, and I'm running, and I'm trying to come with the talent and skills that I think that office should have in it.
Thank you. Natalie?
Can you repeat the
Sure.
question?
Being a constitutional office, what are your thoughts about whether or not the Register of Deeds position should be elected or appointed?
Well, it was set up in the statute, before we even became a state, for the checks and balances of the government. And it's just like with the state statutes we have now. They're in place, you need to follow them and do the guidelines. Do I feel that you always necessarily get the best qualified when it's that? Not necessarily always the case, because if it was an appointed position, with knowing all the details of the office and how to take in the documents and actually help the customers, I have the experience of that end of it. So it would take a lot to change the statute to get it from that. I don't feel that's really necessary. It's what's in the statute, that's how I'm running. I'm running as a Republican. I'm proud to say I'm a Republican. And I see I've got my stop sign.
Okay, thank you. Karen, this will be your last question for this evening, and it will go to Natalie.
Okay, so this might be a little repetitive, but security has been a talking point for this campaign. And especially since the city of Oshkosh had a breach earlier this year. So what do you see the Register of Deeds' responsibility in securing the data from a potential breach? Does that responsibility lay with the Register of Deeds, or is it at a different level?
It lays partly with the Register of Deeds to make sure you get the correct software company and the correct information to your IT department, but the total security lies with the IT department because they have the security for the whole county, not just the Register of Deeds office.
Okay, Seth?
Um,
I think I got it, but just repeat it, please.
Sure. So the security's been a talking point. What do you see the what do you see the Register of Deeds' responsibility in securing the data from a potential breach? Does the buck stop there, or is it lay somewhere else?
Well, it's a chorus of the IT department and the Register of Deeds. Now, the office specifically oversees has digital records, our digital records flowing through it. So it needs to be a requirement that the Register of Deeds, the leadership who has their hand on the wheel, absolutely needs to have that at least knowledge, if not expertise. And the weakest link when you're talking about data breaches, which is what happened with Oshkosh, is people. Unfortunately, people are more prone than anything to fall for phishing scams and things like that. And as I've demonstrated, go to the incumbent's Facebook page, go down to June 6th, and tell me if that's who you want securing your data in 2020. Is that acceptable?
Okay, thank you. Nathaniel, this will be your last question, and it will go to Seth first.
We've spent a lot of time tonight talking about logistical types of things, data security, those types of issues. So I want to switch gears a little bit to address the other piece of it, which is the customer service aspect of it. And so my question is, when are there times that a Register of Deeds would need to exercise judgment in terms of interacting with the public or helping a customer, those types of things?
Sure. Well, pretty much all the time you have to exercise judgment when you're working with customers to get them the results that they need. And some customers don't have the same level of knowledge as others. There are people that work at title companies, and there's just the average friendly old gentleman that comes in that wants to get his condo deed switched over, things like that. So honestly, you have to exercise judgments in every situation as you see fit. As far as a specific example off the top of my head, I don't know. I mean, I'm the kind of person that I look at the individual in front of me and I ask them questions and I try to serve them the best that I can with what they tell me. So I really need that input to give them feedback. So, but I am known for my customer service throughout this valley, throughout the county. I serve large corporations, I serve little old ladies doing their IT, and nobody seems to be disappointed, and I do make it a point to strive for customer service. So that will improve, and then the lean methodology that I want to incorporate will also push that to another level.
Thank you. Natalie?
As far as judgment calls, you deal with the customers on a daily basis. When they come to the counter, most of them, when it comes to dealing with their vitals, they don't realize there's a problem until they actually get their certificate. And then you have to try to get answers from them as how to help them resolve that through the state, because vital records are all done through the state vital records. As far as the real estate, the customers, again, like Seth says, you do need to ask them questions to get the information from them. But we help them the best we can without giving out legal advice, because we got to be very careful not to direct them how to fill out a form, but give them information on where they can get that information, or give them a couple samples of things. Title companies, surveyors, abstract companies, they call us daily for problems of searching something out that they can't find. And with the expertise of the history of how the books are used in the software programs between the two counties, a lot of times I can search stuff out that they're just amazed. I get compliments all the time for the staff and myself on how well we service the customers of Winnebago County.
Okay, thank you.
May I add one little last thing?
No.
It's not
Well,
related.
No, wait.
Okay.
Because right now what we're going to switch to
Uh-oh.
is our closing statements.
Okay.
And this is your time to either clarify or rebut anything that was said earlier by your opponent,
Oh, sure.
or to make a closing statement, or you can combine the two with your
Okay.
time. And we will start that with Natalie, because that's what my little paper says.
Sure.
Okay, Natalie.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for putting on this forum. The Register of Deeds office is a very detail-oriented and Wisconsin statute-driven office. My many years of experience as Register of Deeds and previous work makes me the most qualified candidate to be reelected as Register of Deeds, and I look forward to continue serving the public efficiently and effectively with my experience and knowledge. And as far as dealing with people being unhappy with the Register of Deeds office, I have not received complaints at that at all. I have received more compliments of how efficient and well-trained my staff is, and how we can find so much information for them. So I do pride my office on the staff being so efficient in helping customers.
Okay, thank you. And now Seth.
Sure.
Yes.
Thanks. So if you elect me, Seth Reed, you've seen the Read for Deed signs everywhere. I pounded those posts, those big signs, I pounded over 75 posts in myself. I'm going to increase the public outreach, as I've mentioned. I'm going to make it easier to do business with the Deeds office. I'm going to help cut red tape. I'm going to get the website up to date because it's been neglected and there are typos on it. There are things that are out of date. There's the wrong address on some pages. You lose navigation if you click things. It's not user-friendly. Ordering a pizza website has become more sophisticated and easier to use than the office that delivers our digital records. That's going to change. I also want to get our data more secure because, as it was demonstrated in Oshkosh, This is all of our data, people. It's at risk. We need to do something about it, and electing me puts the person in leadership with the expertise that they need to do that in 2020. And the office will become more efficient. And when I say more efficient, I'm not just throwing the word efficient out there. I'm actually going to incorporate, like I said, lean methodology, which is a proven way to measure and track efficiency over time. There will be real numbers. If you elect me, when I talk about efficiency, I'm going to tell you that we went from 15% in this department to 25% in the next year. That's the way efficiency works. So if you want that, if you want to have that in your leadership in the deeds office and have excellent customer service, which I'm absolutely known for, please vote Reed for deeds. And last thing, my son Max is watching. I'm going to call you in about 10 minutes, but you better have your homework done, all right?
Okay. This forum has been co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Winnebago County and Oshkosh Media. Thanks to both of you, Seth and Natalie, for participating tonight. Remember, you can find this forum and the 54th Assembly District Forum held previously by visiting oshkoshmedia.org, as well as on our website, lwvwinnebago.org, and our Facebook page. The election is Tuesday, November 3rd. The polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and you may register when you go to vote on Election Day. Proof of residency is required. You must also show a photo ID in order to vote. To obtain an absentee ballot, write or call your municipal clerk or stop at that office between now and October 30th. Fill out your absentee ballot right away and take the completed ballot to your municipal clerk's drop box or put it into the U.S. mail at least 1 week prior to the election. We would recommend the drop box, if at all possible. Find information about user registration, polling place, and ballot at www.myvote.wi.gov. Our democracy depends on citizen involvement. Please exercise your right to vote. Thank you.